Tottenham 0, Man City 1. The Tottenham FA Cup run is over after 2 matches. Welcome into Top the Perch. As always, I am your host, Nick Burt. Another trophyless season very quickly coming in. It will be now 16 seasons, 16, 17, somewhere around there. As Tottenham get knocked out of the Emirates FA Cup today, a 1-0 loss to Manchester City at home, a place Manchester City had yet to score in the stadium's 5-year history. And of course, since they have never gotten a goal there, they've never won there. I'm not even going to say I'm mad about it. Trust me, I'm mad. I'm not mad that we lost. It's the way that it all happened, I think. We were very much outmatched all game. Both sides were basically playing their A squads. Tottenham obviously missing more players than Man City, given that Tottenham's best players at the Asian Games, one of their best midfielders is coming back from injury, and another one of their best midfielders is in Africa right now. So it was always going to be a challenge no matter what. Those guys were never going to be back for this game, even if they got grouped. And that obviously didn't happen. Everybody has moved on to the round of 16, so I wish them luck. Hopefully they bring glory to their nations. But we need them back. We need them back desperately. I don't even know where I want to go with this game, because Tottenham were truly so outmatched this whole game. It just started at the beginning. Man City was just constantly on the attack. Tottenham could barely get it over the halfway line. So it kind of felt like from that, we're like, okay, it's going to be a long day. Tottenham truly didn't have any opportunities in the first half. Manchester City had a ton. So going in at half at 0-0, I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. I can deal with a 0-0 game. I can, maybe second half, City makes a mistake, we're down the field, and who knows what happens from that. That happened once, but the once is literally the only shot that was on goal, the only shot for Tottenham in this game. It was a prime Conte performance, one shot on goal. And we didn't make the most of that opportunity. It's just, watching this game, I'm like, okay, I'm sure the goal's coming eventually. And then time kept going on. I'm like, okay, the goal hasn't come yet. Maybe we're getting 0-0 draw and we're going to Etihad in a few weeks. Game keeps going on. That gets closer and closer. Then it's 15th corner of the game, something like that, 88th minute. Ball's crossed into the box, like right on the edge of the goal line. Vicario comes out. I think there's contact with Rodri. Ends up getting to Ake's foot. Ake puts it in the back of the net. It's 1-0, 88th minute. And that was clearly going to be it, because Tottenham truly showed no attacking prowess whatsoever today. It's just, I don't get it. Every year, it either seems like we get what looks to be an easy run to the cup final. Well, I'll say cup semifinal. I won't say the final, because semifinal gets serious. We had an easy run to the semifinal, but we lose to some inferior opponent that we shouldn't be losing to. Or, on the opposite end of things, we get drawn with one of the heavyweights of the Premier League very early on, and the cup run's just over whatsoever. I mean, look at Fulham. We lost to them in the second round of the Carabao Cup back in August. They made it to the semifinal and played Liverpool to a 2-1 loss on aggregate, I believe. Their run to the semifinal was nothing immaculate. To think that could have been Tottenham, I mean, I don't know. It's just, you watch each of these games, and every game it seems like, okay, we're finally taking a step forward. We're looking good. And then a game like this hits, and it's like, okay, let's step back. We're brought back down to earth. What do we got to do to fix this? Take a few steps forward again? Fall flat? What do we got to do this? This team has no attacking prowess whatsoever. I wish I could say Werner is good. He kept making space for himself, but nobody could get him the ball. I don't get it. Richarlison, apparently he was on the field today. Brendan Johnson threw up a stinker today. I mean, that was a, Sessegnon-esque type performance. And I feel bad for Johnson because, he's been in since September, basically. And I think people had high expectations for him. I kind of did as well, I'll be honest. I think he should be more far along than being a work in progress right now, especially since he had a year at Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. I don't know. I don't know where it goes from here. It's just awful. It's awful losing in a game like this. I knew it since we got drawn that it was going to come to this. I more figured that it would have been like a 3-0 loss, and the first goal would have been in the first 10 minutes, and you're like, okay, there's no reason to bother. But getting dragged along for so long, only to have it ripped from you at the end, again, by ripped I mean a draw, and going back to the Etihad in a few weeks. Tottenham 100% did not deserve to win this game. I am not arguing that whatsoever. Just the goal, the inconsistency of the refs, it's hard to even complain about anymore. So let's take a look at the stats. Like I said, Tottenham just absolutely dominated today. City, by far the better team. They controlled the possession, 57%. They had 17 more shots total. Tottenham had 1. Man City had 18. Shots on target, Man City had 5 compared to Tottenham's 1. Shots in the box, Tottenham had 1 compared to Man City's 12. Out of the box, Tottenham had 0. Man City had 6. The expected goals, as expected, Tottenham at 0.28, very low for one shot on goal. Man City at 2.23. So high for 18 total shots. Passes, kind of as you would expect there too. Tottenham only completing 83%, which is one of the lower ones of the season compared to Man City's 88. 19 fouls in the game for Man City. Their tactical challenging of any possible counter-attacking opportunity, it gets annoying after a while, but Pep's team has been doing that since Pep's been coaching, period. So that's just their style of play. It is what it is. 4 yellow cards compared to Tottenham's 3. 14 corners for Man City compared to Tottenham only having 2. So player rating time, I'm sure you're going to expect a lot of orange on here, and that's basically exactly what you're going to get. Richarlison, 5.5. Like I said, I was told he was on the field today. I didn't really see him. I don't know. Timo Werner, he's the highest scoring, I think, of the whole attacking 3. and technically the midfield. He's tied with Bentancur, but he just never got the ball. He made space for himself. He made opportunities for himself. He just never got across from anybody, which is quite annoying. Kulusevski, I was told he was also on the field. I didn't really see it, but apparently he was. Brendan Johnson, we kind of already got into it a little bit. Just high expectations, I think, people had too much hope for him. Like I said, I kind of wish he were more developed than he is. Because right now, he very much does look like a project. And right now, we don't really need that. We need players who can play now. So that, quite disappointing. Again, I think there was just a lot of hope put on him for the fee that was paid, and people just expected a lot more than what we got, basically. Højbjerg earns a 6.7. I saw a lot of people just, kind of hating on him today. I thought he had a okay performance. Obviously, it wasn't great. He hasn't had a great performance since, I believe, the year 2020. But for what we saw, I guess it was okay. I don't know. Bentancur earns a 6.8, so he's the joint highest rated midfielder / attacker. It kind of feels like he's still working himself back from injury, which sucks. I really wish this team were more fit right now. Destiny Udogie, he earns a 7.6. He's the highest rated player here, and he earns a man of the match. He also earned a yellow card. That first half from him was just beautiful. It was one of the great performances I've seen in a while from him. So I really enjoyed that. Second half a little bit fell off, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. Pep was always going to adapt to him, and that's what he did. Mickey Van de Ven, 7.4. What a player. What a player. Obviously he's working himself back from injury. Same with Romero. Both working themselves back. Both earns a 7.4. Van de Ven, though, I think had the better performance of the two. They kind of, leveled out a little. Pedro Porro earns a 7.3. He was what he usually is today. Pretty good. Not outstanding because he didn't really get any attacking opportunities to show anything. But that was more because, City were shutting him down at every opportunity. Vicario, for all the shots he took, earns a 7.2. He really couldn't have done anything on the goal. Maybe in the possible fouls leading up to the goal, he could have done something. But, hey, I don't know. The substitutions, Oliver Skip, where are you? I know he had one play near the end. That was something. Very, very much something. James Maddison, his first debut since injury, earns a 6.2. Wasn't outstanding, wasn't terrible. Dane Scarlett came in the 90th minute. It actually might have been stoppages. He earns a no score because he didn't play enough time. And finally, Postecoglou earns a 7. I kind of did want to go lower because I think theoretically he could have adapted something. I think I'm not a tactician, so I truly have no idea if he could have adapted. So I may just be, talking here without any moral direction, but I feel like something could have been done to maybe have a little bit more of attack in this game, try to get around Pep's team, but just that didn't happen. And because it didn't happen, Tottenham are out of the FA Cup. So, yeah, it is over. Like I said, another trophyless season coming on. It's a tough one to swallow, just the way that it ended. Like I said, Tottenham 100% did not deserve to win this game. I'm not saying that. It's just the goal, in the time it happened, the way it happened, it's just, you're like, oh my gosh, we were robbed of it, a draw basically, a 0-0 draw. But here we are, Tottenham out of the FA Cup. It's time to focus on the league that they're not going to win. So league back on Wednesday. I believe they're playing at Brentford. No, it's at home against Brentford, I should say. That's going to be something. So, I mean, we saw the first game of the season. That was a test. I'm sure this one will be a test. So, given that, that's going to wrap up this FA Cup edition of Top the Perch. Thank you so much for watching. If you stumbled across this video, hit like, hit subscribe, tell anybody you know about it. We'll be back to recap that Brentford game on Wednesday for another episode of Top of the Perch.